And so I'm going to read some tweets about the Oprah situation. Someone said we mistook her unapologetic. Someone tweeted, "We mistook her unapologetically laser-focused public shaming of black people as asking the hard-hitting questions." I don't know how I missed that, shaking my damn head. And someone responded and said, "We got caught up in the decadent veil draped in blackness." Hi guys, welcome to the 5th episode of Brie TV. I'm your girl Brie T, and I just want to wish you guys happy Valentine's Day and apologize for my appearance. I celebrated Valentine's Day with my favorite friends. We were out till 4 in the morning, and then I proceeded for some reason to wake up by 8:30, which means I got like 4 hours of sleep, did a bunch of things, filming, getting everything together, because I was supposed to film this on Tuesday this week, and I didn't, and I waited to the last possible moment. That's just how I do it. But I hope you guys enjoyed your Valentine's Day, and let's get into the video. So today's video, I was originally planning to do a video discussing like freelancing versus content creating and getting in all the nitty-gritty as a content creator and just an entrepreneur. But since last week's video, since last Saturday to today, there were a lot of things that were coming to my attention that as like a black creator, like I feel like I should have an opinion on, like I feel like I should be a part of the dialogue and have the conversation. And so I decided to change it. And like last week's video, so and as a black creator, like I feel like these are things that I should have an opinion on or form a dialogue or conversation to kind of learn from, because these are situations that are affecting black creators. Like last week we talked about like issues in media, but like racism and how it's like non-POC and black creators using POC and black characters as like stereotypes and like pawns. But this episode is kind of focusing on like black creators, like black well-known creators, or black and brown well-known creators like just messing up and dropping the ball, and kind of just like looking at the media industry from a different perspective. So we're going to talk about that. So the first thing I'm going to talk about is the whole Oprah and Gayle I stand with Gayle debacle that happened this week, and a little bit of last week and a little bit of this week. And I'm talking about this, I'll just give you a quick backstory. So Gayle King, after Kobe Bryant's passing, Gayle King interviewed a woman by the name of Lisa Leslie. If you don't know who she is, she's a very great friend of Kobe Bryant, and talking about Kobe's legacy. So what really happened was a clip of the entire interview surfaced, and it was Gayle asking Lisa what were her opinions on Kobe's legacy surrounding his sexual assault case, I think back in the early 2000s or early 2010s. So that happened like a decade and a half ago, like a very long time ago. Kobe died now in 2020. So Gayle proceeds to ask one of his closest friends what she feels on that, and she kind of shut it down. She was being very strong, very articulate. Lisa was very well poised to answer this question, but it was like the clip, it made Gayle look accusatory and attacking. Like when Leslie couldn't articulate perfectly how the case went out, Gayle and it seemed like Gayle was reaffirming that he was still guilty, he just was never convicted. And so that clip took the media world by storm. Everyone across the world had an opinion about it, and a lot of celebrities were upset. A lot of celebrities took to their platforms to point out that Oprah and Gayle don't seem to have the same energy for white men perpetrators as they do black men perpetrators. Gayle did the interview with R. Kelly, and Oprah did the Michael Jackson accusers. But they both had pictures surface of them hugging and laughing with Harvey Weinstein, and neither of them have done anything on Harvey Weinstein. And then there was a clip that looked like Oprah was allegedly downplaying Harvey Weinstein's situation with all of the accused sexual assault that he has done in his entire career, and the amount of women that have accused him of sexual assault. So a lot of celebrities took to their platforms to talk about that, especially Snoop Dogg, who made that connection, but he also went a little too far and started degrading a black woman, which is something we don't condone. Snoop Dogg later apologized, but in essence, everyone was looking at Gayle as if she was just a monster. And I will say, in my opinion, I don't think when someone dies, that's the time to start, like, attacking them. I'm someone who's like, do it when they're alive. Let them see the consequences of their actions, not when they're dead. Like, you can't do anything now. But also realizing that Gayle is a journalist. Journalists are not supposed to ask questions that make everyone happy. Journalists are not supposed to conduct interviews that are going to have a happy ending. Journalists are supposed to ask factual questions. And most journalists will tell you that they will ask questions on someone's legacy from their birth to their death and everything that hit in it, and any major issues or milestones that happened in someone's life. And as a media correspondent standpoint, I can see that that's what she was doing. The edited clip looked horrible, but I also think, and I agree with some people, that Gayle didn't have to ask that question. You don't really have to, especially when you find out that it's a man who lost his daughter and another family was on the helicopter, and now you're just focusing on an incident that was decades in the past. Like, you had so many years to address this about him when he was working with kids. Like, he's the coach of his daughter's basketball team. He was the coach of his daughter's basketball team. If you really felt so unnerved that he was never convicted of this crime, why wasn't anyone up in arms when that happened? Why all of a sudden, when this tragedy strikes, a man, his daughter, and an entire family and other parents and other children are dead, now that we have to talk about it? And so, earlier this week, when I was planning out the original episode, Monique took to Instagram and made a post that accused Oprah of actually not writing for anyone who was black. And the clip is from VH1, and it seems to be interviewing Toni Braxton, and I'll let you take a look at it.
Appearance on the Oprah Winfrey Show in March of '98.
Please welcome Toni Braxton!
She was so freaking mean to me. I was in shock.
Do you take responsibility for the situation that you're in right now?
100%.
100%?
100%. I couldn't believe it because I loved her so much. I admired her and looked up to her. And she pretty much reprimanded me.
I read that you were upset about stories that your overspending caused this.
She says to me, I hear you have Gucci flatware. I'm Oprah Winfrey and I don't have Gucci flatware.
First of all, I didn't know Gucci made silverware.
You ain't got Gucci flatware because you didn't want to buy it. It's not because you couldn't afford it. What do you mean? And immediately, she made me feel this big. This big. That moment completely changed my career. It made people look down on me.
It's just crazy to see, to see that clip and to see her kind of just like... Toni Braxton at this point looks visibly upset. She's crying. Just trying not to just sob on stage. Like, it's really unnerving because that's the first time I've seen an Oprah episode like that where, like, it seems like she's belittling this black woman. That whole interview with Toni Braxton just completely unsettled me for some reason. Like, watching that video made me really unsettled because just, you see a woman visibly upset. It's tax evasion. Like, who was it? MC Hammer did the same shit. Everyone... It seems like celebrities don't like paying their taxes. Damn, Shakira has international tax issues. Like, why are you trying to make her cry on your stage? Like, she didn't kill anybody. I feel like that video just really unsettled me. And it's just, it was eye-opening, but I think it was like kind of the final nail in the coffin. It's just like, Oprah is Oprah, and I don't mean to follow that legacy. Like, her girls' school, how often does she go back there? You know what I mean? Like, I think it's just, in my opinion on this, I will say that Gayle is a journalist. I don't think the question was appropriate. I know that journalists learn like morality codes when they're asking and forming their questions. I don't think you should have asked someone so close to Kobe about something that probably doesn't sit well with them right now in the middle of grieving. Like, I don't think that was the best move. I think that was actually pretty monstrous in a bit. But I will say, like, on the situation with Oprah, it does seem like, in my opinion, it does seem like she picks and chooses what kind of production she wants to do, which is in her own right. But when it comes to topic stories, like, she just pulled out of the Russell Simmons documentary about producing it or hosting it, one of those two things. And while I have my own opinions on the Russell Simmons issue, I can see why people are upset about her doing this when you have Kevin Spacey and she's never done one about Kevin Spacey. She's never done one about Harvey Weinstein. Why is it all of a sudden we're rolling out the carpet for black men? And I'm not saying that, you know, we should just focus on the predatory white men. No, if you're a predator, I don't care what ethnicity you are, you deserve to be in jail. And everyone deserves to be, like everyone deserves to shame you, like, if you're a predator. But I can see why people want her to keep the same energy. And I just think, as a media creator that grew up wanting to be her, it's a little disappointing that she turned out this way, you know, that you're now seeing these connections that she was never really 100% sympathetic with her people, you know what I mean? And then the second, I just think that with the situation with Oprah, she should just work on the OWN network and stop doing like these exposés. You haven't been a journalist in a long time. You haven't been a talk show host in a long time. Focus on running the OWN network. Focus on doing like the WW, like the Weight Watchers thing. Focus on that, and just focus on running a production company and hiring other producers and directors and allowing them to take the brunt end of the work, because it seems like she's losing her touch. And maybe she's not losing her touch. Maybe she's like showing her true colors. At this point, I think Oprah, I don't want to see her host anything other anymore, because she's not doing anything but creating more division at all. Like, in this sense, like, I'm not blaming Oprah for all of the division, but like, no, until she comes out with a Harvey Weinstein like production, I don't even think I want her to do a Harvey Weinstein production, because at that point everyone will be questioning, like, are you just doing this because you pissed off black people? So I just think Oprah needs to go and just oversee and be a CEO and be away from the camera for now, like retire from being on camera and just not take these jobs anymore. And Gayle should, you know, I don't know, rethink her line of questioning. So the second thing that kind of shifted me into talking about like black and brown creators like making a mess or like doing really shitty shit. Like, obviously we have Oprah, like, she's a creator and she was just like, and then I continued to like scroll and be immersed in media, and there was a post that was celebrating a film by Spike Lee, and its School Days was released 23 years. So School Days was released 32 years ago. Today, which was the 14th of February, Spike Lee has described his second feature film as his 4 years at Morehouse jam-packed into homecoming weekend. School Days addresses various social and political issues, including issues within the black community, #Black History 2020. And then someone quoted that tweet and gave more context to how the film was created. And they said, fun fact, Spike Lee had light-skinned women, wannabes, stay in a nice hotel, and dark-skinned women, jigaboos, I hate saying that word, stay in a less favorable hotel to create tension, which comes out during the on-camera scenes between the two groups. Now, at first glance at that, that's like, oh, okay. Fun fact, I learned something about what happened on set and how these actors got into character. But then when you look at it and you think about it, that unsettled me too, because like, that's not method acting. That's not method acting at all. You're actually creating like horrible tensions. Like so the issue that I have with this, like that fun fact, what Spike Lee did behind the scenes 32 years ago, was harmful. That was extremely harmful. It was psychologically harmful to the two groups of women, to your actresses. You are instilling again and making them live out more colorism as if they didn't know how to do it. Like, someone even tweeted, like someone responded to the tweet and was like, what happened to just letting actors act? Because there's method acting and then there's manipulation and psychological damage, and I think this falls under like manipulation and psychological damage to the point where the actresses are hating each other off camera. Like, when the camera stops and they don't like each other, and it's purely because of how you section them off, that's manipulation. Method acting is like what Heath Ledger did to be in the Joker. Like, he tried to get into the zone of what it felt like to be insane, not sleep for 4 days. That's method acting. They're choosing to do that. No one in the studio told Heath Ledger, do not sleep for 6 days and then come to set. He chose to do that. That's method acting. You making, like, and then and when you think about it, 32 years ago, these actresses knew colorism. These actresses knew the effects of colorism, how it looks like, what the privileges are, how the systematic built of colorism is. Like, they know what it is. You don't need to fester it anymore to the point where now they're acting it out in real life, and it's becoming their real life. Like, that was just weird. That was absolutely weird. And then someone even followed up with that fun fact and said, and he had the wannabes all get weaves. I had the book to the making of the movie, and I remember Tisha had a hard time staying in character because her best friend was one of the jigaboos and she hated the name calling. It just... Whew. Whew. I don't like... I guess my issue is I would have expected that if it was like a white director putting the light skins in one area and the dark skins in another, because in their head, like, that's how it should be. But you are a black director. You are a black creator. You know damn well that colorism is a daily interaction. Colorism is something you encounter every day. Why do you think that these trained actresses who got here because they know their shit, needs more manipulation to the point where friends are uncomfortable with friends, people are uncomfortable coming on set, you're putting them in hard conditions after working them for so many hours? Because a film set, if you've never been on a film set takes all day. One scene can take over 24 hours to film, and you have to stay in that same area until it's done. You will probably have 72 takes of the same damn scene, and that takes several hours. And so, like, your actors are there, your actresses are there for that long, and then you're gonna put the dark-skinned actresses in, like, shitty accommodations just so they can keep the same sense of their character. You're not letting them break character. That's manipulation. That's psychologically damaging. Why, like, as a black creator, why does that make sense? And then on top of that, people were like, well, this is Spike Lee. He doesn't pay his actors anyway. But it's just like, it's just, these are like, and I guess, you know, the whole Oprah and then Spike Lee jump was kind of like abrasive. But at the end of the day, it's like, these are two prominent creators in black media. You have Oprah Winfrey, who created a media empire out of nothing, and you have Spike Lee, who, like, gave some of the best black films. But your methods, the way you do it, like, does it truly help black people? Your actresses, Spike Lee's actresses, were they better people when they left? Like, I just don't get it. I just think like the whole Spike Lee thing just makes me so angry, because it's just manipulation. It isn't fair. It doesn't work. You think that's the best course of action, and it isn't. And it just, the Spike Lee thing just has me so heated, it's not even funny, and I should probably stop talking about it, because it's wild to see black creators just make those moves and think that they're successful. And yeah, like, School Days was a good movie, but like, damn, you didn't need to do that. Like, colorism is something people experience every single day. You don't need to make them experience it on set. Method acting is a choice. It is the actor's choice. It is not manipulation from the studio, from the director. Okay, so those are my opinions. Those are what drove me here. I think as a media creator, as a black media creator, I need to be aware of what other black creators who set the groundwork for us to come up on are doing wrong, so we can have that corrective action. Because it's not just correcting what white directors are doing, it's also correcting what our predecessors in black film and black media have done wrong.